Your next comic told me that he's been congested since 1996. Please put your hands together for the very funny Ivi Demi!
It's true. I mentioned that so that nobody wants to do cocaine with me afterwards. If there's barriers to entry. There are some irrational fears, I'll say, from not being able to breathe. Like I'm terrified of being kidnapped. It's not because I'm afraid of what they're going to do to me. It's just I worry that when they duct tape my mouth shut and throw me in the back of the van, I suffocate on the way to the hideout. Like I don't even have the dignity to be tortured. Yeah. I've been told by people I sort of look like Seth Rogen when he tries to lose weight for a role. Not sure if that's a compliment. It makes sense, the kind of look that says, he's hired a nutritionist, but he's clearly still snacking between meals. I'm proud of it. I'm originally from the country of Albania. Yeah. There's no reason you guys should know where that is, and as Americans, I'm confident nobody here knows what the hell I'm talking about. It's in the Balkans in Eastern Europe. I don't know if you guys know a lot of people from the Balkans, but probably Mother Teresa is the most famous Albanian I can think of. Mother Teresa loved Albania and the Balkans so much that as soon as she could, she moved to a rural, impoverished, disease-ridden village in India. And she said, "No, this is good. I'm good here. This is totally fine. I'm not going back." She essentially chose 7 years of very painful bowel movements over us. I think that paints a pretty good picture. I think Americans got their big exposure with Albanians in Liam Neeson's movie Taken. Do you guys see that? Yeah. Where his daughter is kidnapped by an international crime syndicate. In that movie, my people are the ones doing the taking. He then spends 90 minutes killing off a third of our population to save one person. So I have a really hard time seeing who the victims are in that movie. You ever think your dad loves you and then you watch that movie and you're like, man, there is so much more he could be doing. I love there's a scene in that movie prior to the kidnapping where Liam Neeson finds out his daughter is planning to follow U2 in concert across Europe. And literally everyone in the audience in the theater had the same feeling. It was like, she might have this coming, honestly. I think it's a bit of a sad reality that Albanians, my people, are involved a lot in crimes. I think what sucks more than that is whenever the one's in charge, we're always like the henchmen, always kidnapping the bridesmaid, but never the bride. It's true though, you'll see rooms full of Italians and Russians and they're making the plans, and we're outside that room with a clipboard and an earpiece. We're the bouncers of the criminal underworld. Just guys in sequins dragging t-shirts and neck tattoos going, sorry, not on the list. Come back with evil chicks, we talk. I hope it's not culturally insensitive for me to say, but I think that all Eastern European people are evil. Just like, have you ever been on the phone with someone and you could just tell by the cadence of their voice that they definitely have a facial scar? That's what calling home is like for me, honestly. Jesus Christ, Grandma, fine, I'll come over and visit. Just let the girl go, all right? Growing up, I'll say it was a little bit tough. Albania had a communist dictator for like 30, 40 years. My parents have seen and experienced some things that I will never understand. I have empathy for them, totally understand that, but it ruined my childhood because I could never really complain. Like, what could I experience in social studies class that's gonna equate to the things they're dealing with? Arguments were always a little bit tough. Dad, I wish you wouldn't take my PlayStation away, man. I wish they didn't take your grandfather away. Dad, these chores are torture, man. Torture. Have you ever been waterboarded, son? They fired me from prom committee. Your uncle was fired once from a cannon. My dad doesn't even smoke, but guaranteed always has a cigarette during these conversations. Just always found that odd. I feel like I treat them like kids sometimes. Their English is a lot worse than mine, so I'm like shuttling them around, like, hey, put that down, we gotta pay for that. Where's that finger bend, Dad? That's not food. it feels demeaning, but it shows true love. Seriously. I'll say growing up, we didn't have a lot of money, so a lot of my clothes were hand-me-downs, which sucked back then. You know, we were poor. I realize now all that old country stuff is suddenly vintage and cool now. Like I have this old jacket belonged to my uncle. The thing is stained and tattered. There's a bullet hole in the back. The guy essentially survived a genocide in this thing. It's dry clean only, but it's already been ethically cleansed, which is great. But now I wear this thing out and about, and guys in man buns stop me and say, "Hey man, where'd you get that? Goodwill? Salvation Army?" I gotta say, "Hey Caleb, man, I didn't ask for his name, but I'm sure that's what it is." I say that is super offensive to my people. This is the War Crimes collection at Urban Outfitters. Recognize. I'll say I really loved adapting to American culture. It's been great. One of my favorite things is the fact that nobody here has any emotional empathy for anybody else. Like nobody wants to have difficult conversations. And I've loved that. It's been great when it comes to dating. Like I love ghosting. It's so good. It's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. For those of you that don't know what that is, ghosting is instead of having a mature adult conversation with someone and explaining why you should probably see other people, instead you go to a Joann Fabrics and you buy a white linen sheet and you've got a couple of eye holes in it and you drape it over yourself and then you spend the next few weeks popping in and out of their bushes until they move away, and then you never have to have that conversation. You guys have been great. That's my time. Thanks so much.